Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and today's video is gonna be a little different. Just take a look at this. So right now I'm top 200 in the leaderboards, and I'm pretty much, I only need like 1 or 2 LP to become challenger, because as you can see, if we move down a little bit, you can see right here at the number 144 it stops. I'm pretty sure that if you have 261 LP, you become a challenger, because as you can see, there's a few players above me that also deserve to become challenger, and then there's me at number 194 with other people that have 260 LP. I am so damn close to challenger. And just take a look at this, by the way. Oh, oops, there's some ARAMs and PFPs. Just look at this. Just look at this. Look at this. Oh, that's ARAM, ARAM, ARAM. Those are 3 ARAMs, sorry. Look at this. And that's more ranked. How insane is this? I was already in high Grandmaster Elo when I won those games. Like I was at 160 LP or something, but my MMR gains are plus 10 when I win the game, but minus 20 when I lose. I literally won 10 games in a row to become 260 LP, and it's not even enough for challenger. It is absolutely incredible how much you have to do to become challenger. But the thing is, you shouldn't think that every challenger player is impressive, because this is just because my MMR is really bad. There are players that have way better gains. Like some people even get plus 20, minus 10. And you know, you shouldn't think that whoever becomes challenger, it's super impressive or something like that. The thing that's truly impressive are the ones that become challenger with this stupid MMR, with plus 10, minus 20, because I can tell you guys, I sweat my absolute ass off in all my games. It's incredible how hard you have to sweat, because you literally have to win every single game to become challenger. Now, let me tell you, see, the way that these guys have high MMR is because they were challenger previously. I mean, I was challenger as well, but the second season I was not a challenger. And honestly, I don't know exactly why some people get plus 20, minus 10. There must be something like broken in the thing. Like I have a 55% win rate in ranked, which is really, really high. Like it's really, really high. I know there's people that have higher, I know there's people that have higher, but with a 55% win rate in like in top 200 leaderboards, it's really good, right? It's really, really good. So I honestly don't really know why the MMR system is like this, because honestly, it shouldn't be like, of course it should be really hard to reach challenger, but if you win 10 games in a row in high Grandmaster, I mean, it's a bit weird, but okay. Let's now talk about why you were here in the first place. How did I do it? How did I win 10 games in a row in high Grandmaster and pretty much challenger ranked games? So let me tell you, I play every single role and almost every single champion. And the way that I do it is, obviously I am not perfect on every champion, because I do not play like one champion over and over again. I am not perfect on all the champions. I'm just good at a lot of the champions. But let me tell you especially how I won all those games on all those champions. So the thing that you have to really realize is the strengths and powers of your champion. See this? Like besides the micro plays, besides outplaying your enemy with flashes or outplaying your enemy, but I'm not talking about this. We all know that you can outplay the enemy, but I'm talking about really, really knowing the strengths and powers of your champions. And so this not only goes about the game, this also goes about how you build your champion and what runes you use. See this, like I really realized this recently. I recently realized the actual importance of runes. I always knew that runes were super important, but after testing out some different runes, right now I'm playing conditioning on Kaisa, guys. Conditioning. I never ever used to play conditioning on any ADC. I always used to play conditioning only on tank champions. But it's wrong. It's wrong. You should play conditioning, this is just a small example, on champions that skill into the late game and just relax in the early game. Like right now, in the late game, I'm gonna get so tanky with my conditioning, and it's really, really gonna help me. However, these are the deeper dives that you should take into the runes. And I'm gonna ask you guys to test your knowledge right now. What is a point that what would be a reason that you shouldn't build conditioning in this game? Please tell me, and think about this very carefully, because in the late game, it's true that conditioning is gonna provide me with a lot of armor and magic resist, but what would be a reason to not build conditioning into this game. Let me know in the comments, test your knowledge, okay? Really look into our composition, the enemy composition, just the situation that we're in. Just look, why would I not build conditioning in this game? So pause the video right now, I'm gonna reveal it. So the reason that I shouldn't build conditioning, well, I mean, I still could go for conditioning, it would definitely be good. But the reason that you could argue that it would not be good is because Vayne deals true damage. Guys, true damage goes right through conditioning. Now, why am I saying this to you? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because you should really look deep into the enemies and your composition on what runes you should build, what build you should go for, and how you should play, guys. All these things are super duper important. So take a look at what we're doing here. We're going for the dragon. Why? Because we can easily beat them in a fight, and we saw an enemy at the bottom. We saw the Lucian in the bottom. Singed is not good at the first dragon. Vayne is not good at the first dragon. You know, you have to look, you really have to look at those strengths and weaknesses and make calls. Because if you don't, you're really gonna lose a lot of games. And what I'm talking about right now is gonna bring your win percentage up by a few percent only. Maybe 5%. But that 5% is going to be the difference between 50% and 55% win rate. It's really insane how big of a difference really knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your composition, the enemy composition, your champion, the enemy champion means. Trust me, guys, it's incredible how much change it can make. And the other reason that I'm actually able to win on pretty much any champion is just macro knowledge, guys. Macro knowledge applies on every single champion, and what I mean with this is when to push turrets, when to take fights, when to go for dragons, when to invade jungles, things like this. And this actually adds up to the strengths and weaknesses things, because some champions are good at pushing turrets, for example. For example, Jax, Fiora, Nasus. What should you do with these champions? Of course, push turrets, guys. It sounds so simple, but it's so effective to just play your champion to his powers and his weaknesses. Like when you play Nasus, you shouldn't rotate to your team for dragons. Push turrets, because you can push them so fast. And of course, Nasus's weakness is his early game. So you should not fight in the early game, and you should push turrets. You're literally playing your champion to his powers. Guys, it's really this simple, but it's just so effective that I keep saying it. And this is truly what allows me to win so many games. Like, let's take a look at Singed, for example. In the lane, you're gonna have a rough time. However, your third ability is a major strength. Your third ability allows you to yeet an enemy behind you, which allows you to throw enemies under your turret, throw enemies behind you when your jungler is ganking. You can flash and throw enemies behind you. You got the point, right? You're basically weak in your lane unless you're able to get a valuable third ability. You're really strong in late game team fights, because if you're fart gas, right, you can run around and fart around everywhere. You're gonna slow the enemy and deal damage. I'm just giving you guys some examples, and let me just teach you how you can do this, right? How do you understand strengths and weaknesses of a champion? So the first thing would obviously be watch guides, right? You can watch guides on the champion. I make guides for almost every champion, but there's also other YouTubers, so you can also look at it from a different perspective perhaps. But watch guides for the champions, and especially watch YouTubers that teach you about these things. Don't just watch YouTubers that show you a game where they stomp the enemy. This is not good. You have to watch YouTubers that actually explain to you how the champion works, how to fully utilize the kit of the champion. Like, this is super important, so you actually really know how to fully play the champion to his full potential. The next thing would be, just think. Just look at the champion and think, okay, what can this champion do? Let's take another champion, for example, Fizz. What can this champion do? Let's just think, right? Fizz has burst abilities. He's a full burst heavy champion. He has his ultimate, he has his second ability, third ability, first ability. These are all abilities that do not deal any sustained damage. They're not on a very low cooldown, so you have to use them very effectively. It's not like Orianna or Twisted Fate, for example, who just can spam their abilities. So this champion is meant to one-shot enemies. You can quite easily tell that from Fizz, right? He's meant to one-shot. So what do you do with him? You one-shot. You do not take longer fights. You go for the one-shots, guys. And what goes with one-shot champions? Assassination, right? You have to hide in team fights because you have to assassinate enemies. And you just have to keep thinking further and further until you really figure things out. And after you've thought about that, like after you say, okay, Fizz is an assassin, I have to hide from the enemy, you try. You go in games and you try. You try stuff out and see what works and see what doesn't work. Yet again, watching guides really helps with this process, of course, because YouTubers can actually tell you what they think works and what doesn't work. But if you try it yourself, you're gonna figure out stuff yourself too, guys. This is so important. Also, try to find streamers that play these champions and ask them questions about it. Like if there's a streamer that plays Lee Sin a lot, go into a stream, ask them questions about it, and apply it yourself. Now, it's actually easier to become high rank by only playing one champion. But as I said, I did it with almost every single champion. So let me continue talking to you about how I actually did it. Let's talk about solo queue versus duo queue. Solo queue is a nice way to rank up, but when you do play solo queue, I really recommend you to pick like hard carry champions. What are hard carry champions? Jinx, Draven, Kaisa, Katarina, Akali, Master Yi especially, guys, Darius, Lucian, basically champions that can provide enough damage as a champion alone. Like you can, even if all your teammates suck, you can still hard carry the game. You should be playing those champions. When you play duo queue, however, you have to find a really good duo queue teammate. And I'm playing duo queue in this game, by the way, with the Senna, who is Keys. We literally won every single game. You can play more champions that can excel with good teammates. Like when you play Baron lane, for example, and you're playing duo queue with your jungler, you can get away with playing Nasus, for example. You should not really play Nasus in solo queue because people are not gonna understand you. But when you're playing duo queue with your jungler, you can actually tell your jungler, hey, come gank me, or hey man, don't do the dragon, I'm pushing, things like this. That's when you can play these types of champions more. I mean, like, you can play Nasus in solo queue, of course, but your win rate is going to be significantly lower generally from when you play Vayne or Katarina or Akali, for example, right? You should really master those champions if you just want to play solo queue. You should really master those assassin champions that can just completely hard carry games. Well, not only assassin, just champions that can hard carry games, because not every champion can hard carry games, guys. Fizz is another example that can completely hard carry games because of his assassination potential. So, what do I say? Like, honestly, like, let's now quickly talk about the MMR system. Like, people ask me, how do I fix my MMR? Honestly, I don't know. I win so many games, but yet my MMR is just, it only goes up by a little bit. Like, sometimes I get plus 11 instead of plus 10. But really, all I have to tell you is win more matches. That's really all I have to tell you. Win more matches, and you really have to win way more matches. Like, your win rate has to skyrocket to really go up in the ranks, guys. And that's really it. Like, you just have to win a lot. You have to win everything. I know it's super annoying, but you just have to win every single game. And yeah, if you continue to win with a high percentage and you maintain your rank, like if I stay in Grandmaster for a very long time, eventually my MMR gains are gonna get better. It takes a very long time, but just stay in your rank and keep winning and winning and winning. That's really what you have to do. And it's hard, guys. I know it's hard. It's just so annoying, hard, and everything like that. But my big tip, as I said, would be really understand the champions, really understand the compositions, and really understand the strengths and weaknesses. Understand which build you have to go for, understand which runes you have to use. And these things, like all these things, if you understand all these things, it's really gonna bring up your win percentage by a few percent. I'm not saying that you're gonna win every single game. I'm just telling you that your win rate can actually increase by 5%, 6%, 7%, maybe even 10%. But it's very significant if it increases by that much, right? Because it's gonna go from 50% to 55 or 56, 57, and that's an absolute huge, like, it's huge if you can do that, guys. So how do you deal with frustrations? You are obviously gonna get very bad teammates. Like, you guys saw, was it yesterday's video? Yeah, it was yesterday's Nasus video where I had a 0-12 Kha'Zix. So what do you do with teammates like that? The thing that you have to do is you have to look at your team. which players do I think are gonna be good in the later game, and which players are just absolutely horrible. So if you see, for example, like in this game, I can see that the Twisted Faith is doing something. I can see that the Nasus is applying a lot of pressure. I can see that my Senna is, supporting really, really well. So you have to play around those champions. Don't put any energy into teammates that are playing bad. And I'm not gonna tell you just deal with it. I'm actually gonna give you tips on how to do that. So, for example, let's take an example that my Rammus is inting. He's not inting, but he's just 0-12, not doing anything. What do? I don't even pay attention to what he does. What I do instead is I'm looking at when my Twisted Faith is gonna go in, when my Nasus wants to go in, where my Senna is. Put all of your attention on those champions. Put zero attention into the player that is inting. Just put attention. I mean, you can occasionally call them out for it, like you can just trash talk. I mean, we all know that sometimes you say bad things, but that's okay. Just don't put too much attention to them. Focus on your own game and focus on your teammates' game. It's really, really important. Focus on the right targets, especially as a jungler, guys, especially as a jungler. And you can see in this game, I was actually using bone plating. I was not using conditioning for the reason that I told you about earlier on in this video, because they have Vayne. It's pretty useless against Vayne because she does true damage. So I decided to go for bone plating instead, because it's really good against Lucian. It's good against Lulu. It's good against, what is that other champion that they have? It's also good against Singed, by the way. It's just good, bone plating is good in this game. So I chose bone plating because I saw the weakness of the rune conditioning, which is true damage, because it doesn't save you against true damage. Oh my god, what is that damage? Phew. Yeah, this is not going too well, this game. You can see, games can be very rough, like this one. So what do you do as a Kai'Sa in a game like this one? Which is a pretty much lost game, right? Like, this game is pretty much lost. Here I was actually getting pretty mad. Nasus has a Trinity Force and an Iceborne Gauntlet. These two items don't stack. It's a waste of gold, man. Why would you go for these two items? It's so stupid, but okay. So what I do in this game is, if I wanna win this game somehow, some way, I have to catch out enemies when they're low. Like, we're obviously not gonna win a team fight. So what is our win condition? Here, look at this. This Singed. I have to kill this guy. So we kill him. Okay. Now you have to think. Okay, we killed the enemy Singed. That means that there's only 4 enemies. So it's a bigger chance for me to solo carry a team fight. This would possibly be a nice moment to try to fight. Even though we're definitely in a disadvantage, in losing games like this, you really have to look for any small edge that you can get. And the small edge here is that we killed the Singed, and we could possibly try to look for a fight, even though our Nasus is dead as well and our Rammus is dead as well. But you just have to look at these things. So in these games like this one, which is an obvious loss, you just have to make these desperate moves. Do not give up. Everyone tells you don't give up, but I'm telling you right now again, do not give up. Look for the desperate plays. Go for those high risk, high reward plays. Let me tell you, out of 100 games, you're gonna win 5 out of those games. Out of 100 losing games, like super duper losing games like this one, you are gonna win 5 or maybe even 10 of them. What does this mean? An increase of win rate of a few more percent. See, it's a puzzle, guys. It's really a puzzle. When you put all the puzzle pieces together, you're gonna be increasing your win rate by a few percent, which is huge. Like, that few percent is gonna be absolutely huge, and a few of those percents is these losing games. These absolute, like, look at this. So one of my teammates died, but take a look at the enemy. They're not full HP. They're not full HP. So I should possibly try to look for something. Look at this, see that? They're not full HP. So here I am already thinking like, okay, they're not full HP. Oh, did you see that Singed, that third ability? That's the power of Singed, guys. I had to flash away from it. So I have 4 items. The enemy is a little low and the Elder Dragon is up. We have to try to look for something. Look at this. So I'm gonna clear out this wave. My Rammus is going to the Elder Dragon, and I need to look at my map right now. So I'm looking, look at this. So I see a few enemies low here. This is possibly a win condition. Look at this. An enemy that is a free kill, the Vayne. I could just kill the hyper carry. I used my ultimate to her. Boom, easy kill. And right now we killed the Vayne, guys. I killed Illusion as well. Look at this. This is how close you can be to winning a game. So why did we win that fight? Let me tell you about these giga lost games. Let me just tell you about them. Often these games are giga lost because the enemy has one champion that is hyper carrying the game. Take a look at the enemy composition. It's Vayne. Vayne is the champion that's hard carrying the game. What did I do? Immediately when I saw an opportunity to kill the Vayne, I used all my resources to do that. Because when you kill a Vayne like that, the game is not giga lost anymore, because you killed the champion that made the game giga lost for you. So then it becomes a balanced game, or maybe even a one game. And this is the switch that I want you guys to put in your head. You're often hard losing a game because there's just one champion that is hard carrying the game. That one champion is a human. What do humans do? They make mistakes. When you just have to wait for that mistake, and when that enemy makes the mistake, you go all in. You go all in. As you saw that I went all in on the Vayne, and when I killed the Vayne, I pretty much took away half of the enemy's damage, and I was actually able to get a quadra kill alone. Because I am also super fat. You know, the Vayne is fat, but I am super fat as well. So at this point, we actually got the Elder Dragon. What does that mean? Just do 5 versus 5s. You should never really lose a game with Elder Dragon, guys. When you get the Elder Dragon, don't go for 1 versus 2s, 1 versus 3. Just do 5 versus 5s. Because in 5 versus 5 situation, Elder Dragon is going to provide the most value, guys. Oh, I kind of screwed up here. But my team got my back here. That was really nice. So yeah, when you have the Elder Dragon, like here you can see the Nasus went 1 versus 1 against the Vayne. He still loses because it's a 1 versus 1. Elder Dragon is not going to provide a lot of value in 1 versus 1s. But in 5 versus 5s, it provides a lot of value because you're going to be applying the true damage to all of the enemies, and all of your teammates also have the bonus of the Elder Dragon. In this case, which is the bonus vampirism. So take a look at this. I'm not going to go in if my team is not here. I'm just not. Here I do go in because my Twisted Faith followed up. Boom. You only want to go in with your team in a situation like this. Because as I said, with the Elder Dragon, it's always going to be a free fight. Really, it's always going to be a free fight. If you go 5 versus 5. See, all the things that I told you about in this video are all like little things. These are not the main ways that you can win games. But these are some little extra things that I have for you. It's like tweaking. You're tweaking yourself, you know. If you do all these things, you're really significantly gonna improve your win rate, guys. You're significantly gonna improve your win rate, and you're definitely gonna get higher ranks, right? You're definitely gonna get higher ranks, especially with that first point that I gave in the video, with the strengths and weaknesses. By the way, I just want to tell you that I did not script this video. I'm just talking all this out of my head right now, and I do this on purpose because what I want to do is I just want to, you know, I want to think during the video about what the most important things are about winning games. But in this video, I didn't want to talk about the most important. I wanted to talk about the little things that many people don't think about, right? Like many people surrender games. I surrender too, but there are some games that you should not surrender. Also about the what I talked about in the beginning of the video, these are things that not many people think about. Many people just think about, yeah, I'm playing Darius, let's just play Darius, let's try to get kills, blah blah blah. You know, you look at how you can get kills, but you do not look at how the enemy can stop you from getting kills. And that's the big problem. You only look at yourself, but you do not look at the enemy. You do not look at the strengths and weaknesses of the enemy. Now, there's many people that understand that you have to look at the strengths and weaknesses, but they don't understand that you also have to do it for the enemy. You know, the enemy can also carry the games. So if, you know, it's all about this, guys. It's really all about this. So I really hope that I still was able to give you guys a good video, even though I just completely freestyled this video. I do this on purpose, really. I do this on purpose. Yeah, I had a 10 win streak. Let's just take a look at how much damage I did in this game, by the way. Yeah, look at this. Look at those gains. Plus 10. This was the 6th win, by the way, as you can see. Yeah, look at this. 35,000 damage, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this video was entertaining and helpful for you guys. And I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye-bye.